All right, welcome. I'm Mr. Briggs. This is Spanish 1 class, and today I wanted to talk just a little bit about myself, introduce myself to you. We'll skip some things. First off, I want to just give you kind of a snapshot of this week and into next week, some things that you can expect. So today, being the 15th, is just to get to know. You'll get to know who I am. And then tomorrow and on Monday we'll be focusing on the policies and procedures of this class. And then you can see on into next week as well. We start talking about why learn Spanish, the importance of that. We dive into my website. I'll introduce you to my website, let you, kind of go around and explore a little bit. And then you'll also be given a pre-evaluation test just to see how much Spanish you know. Okay, I'm not looking for you to make a 100, as if you're taking Spanish 1, you probably don't know a whole bunch of Spanish, but do try your best on that. And then we'll finish the week off with a video from Mexico, part 1. There's 4 parts to that. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about myself. First off, I attended Katy High School. Most of you know where Katy is. Perhaps you've been. It used to be a really small little town, little rice town, but now it's really a lot bigger since they put that big old mega mall, Katy Mills. Maybe you've been there before. Once they put that there, Katy just exploded in growth. So I attended Katy High School. I also did play football. I was a defensive back, and it was, a lot of fun. Katy, of course, since that time has won many different championships, state championships. This guy right here was my defensive back coach, and he is currently the head coach of Katy. His name is Coach Joseph. I remember him, a little short little guy. He would get into the lineman's face, grab their face mask, and be yelling for whatever reason. Very short, small little guy, but very intimidating. I remember there was a time when we won the state championship back in, I think it was 97, and I was on junior varsity, and I got moved up to varsity. I didn't really get to play, but I just got to be there and go with the team. It was a lot of fun. But one thing I recall is when we won that state championship, I was one of the first ones that ran out onto the field, and we were so excited. We were jumping up and down, and all of a sudden, hitting each other's chest, bumping each other's chest, and then came the rest of the team, the big guys, the linemen, the center, all these guys. All of a sudden, it was a big dog pile, and guess who ended up on the bottom? Yep. I was on the bottom, and there was a number of people on the bottom, and I remember hearing, get up, I can't breathe. I was one of those people saying that. So it went from a very exciting time to a very scary time. But anyways, that's one of my memories. Now, I lived in Guatemala for 2 years. I don't look like I speak Spanish, but I did live in Guatemala for 2 years on a church mission. And in these 2 years, I was able to learn Spanish. Lots of practice, got kind of thrown into the language and submerged in it. And after the 2 years, I was able to speak it. Now, maybe you ask yourself, where is Guatemala? So I'm going to go ahead and take you there so you can kind of get an idea of where it's at. We zoom in. Most of you know where Mexico is. And if you go to Mexico, and then you go south of Mexico, you're going to run into Guatemala. So here we have it, Guatemala right there. You have Mexico here, and El Salvador, Honduras. So Guatemala is located in Central America. So that's where I was for those 2 years. And you'll hear me talk about that in the future, about my experiences as part of this class. I graduated from Texas A&M University. I actually graduated with a degree in environmental geoscience, but got a certification teaching Spanish. If you're ever thinking about going to Texas A&M University, highly recommend College Station. Huge campus, very good place, well known. And I have 4 children, ages Joseph, who is 11, Anna, who is 10, Benjamin, who is 8, and Zachary, who is 16 months old. So age is kind of spread out, especially between these two. One unique thing about my kids is I decided that I was going to teach them Spanish when they were born. And my wife doesn't speak Spanish. She understands a lot. But I decided, you know what? I learned Spanish after high school when I was 19. And why not pass this gift of speaking another language to my kids? And so if you ever see me anywhere in the store, park, I always get weird looks as I talk to my kids in Spanish. But at this point, Joseph, he's the oldest. He's been, around the longest, so he knows more Spanish than the rest of them. He speaks a lot more. They all understand pretty much everything I say. But the thing that has been very difficult for me is getting them to speak the language. They'll hear it, understand it, but it's motivating them to speak it. And you'll hear me say this many times in my class: if you don't speak a language, you're not going to learn it. Okay, you have to practice it. If I didn't practice my language of Spanish, I would slowly forget it. So anyways, that's something unique about my kids. My wife, Michelle, she also graduated from Texas A&M University, and that's where we met. And anyways, that's pretty much about me. And I'll stop there.